Welcome and blessings, my brothers and sisters, in the love and in the light of our infinite Creator. Welcome to the Law of One Study Channel. The question today for QO concerns the recent acts of terrorism that have come to this United States. Many people have died and much property has been destroyed, and there is a lot of talk about retribution, about war, and a lot of fear and anger, a lot of confusion. And we are wondering what this situation looks like from QO's point of view. We are told that this world is an illusion. It is a place where we come to learn to love. From our point of view, right here, right now, it is a very difficult place to learn to love. We are wondering what QO can add to our knowledge of just exactly what has occurred. What does it mean to us in the spiritual sense? And what can we as individuals do to help the situation? We are those known to you as the principle of QO. Greetings, love and light to each, the light and the love of the infinite Creator and the infinite unity of all that is. We thank each of you for joining our group this afternoon. We thank you for calling to us with your thirst for truth. We thank you for your sacrifice of time and your attention. We thank you for a great privilege, for it is a great privilege to be allowed to share our thoughts with you. It has been asked of us this day that we tell you what our point of view is upon the events taking place within your earth world at this time. May we say, first of all, that we greatly appreciated the comments that were made in the sharing of thoughts and reflections that preceded this meditation. We are aware to some extent of the distress and the discomfort of the normal tenure of life. Your peoples have greatly suffered, and it is a particular kind of suffering which is not only the suffering of a particular nation, but a suffering which goes beyond your nation states and into the overriding ethos of your culture. What it looks like to us is somewhat different because we see in a wider range of things that are visible. We are not limited by physical limitations in what we see, what we hear, shall we say, what we are aware of, but rather are limited only by our distortions, which to us is limit enough. Because of being able to see into the finer planes of your planet's ongoing developing nature and essence, we are able to report both that there is genuine suffering going on within your Earth world in the finer planes, and that there is at this time, as this instrument and as the one known as Steve has mentioned, a tremendous outpouring of love, light, and energy. To express our point of view is to ask all of you to come from a standpoint of looking within the perimeters garnered by the physical limitations to the realm of concepts. For in the metaphysical creation, which is the counterpart of the physical creation, concepts are that which is, shall we say, real, and form is a matter of choice. Consequently, it is the color and structure of thoughts that creates meaning. It is a creation in which what this instrument would call ideas are geographically, and these ideas, these concepts, these thoughts are of an order which your peoples have studied in various ways as mythology, as religion, as philosophy of a certain kind, always attempting to express truths that are too fine for the physical senses to comprehend. One system which this instrument is somewhat familiar with of studying this creation of concepts, which predated the tarot deck as used for divination and consisted of 22 archetypical images, which this instrument and this group have previously questioned about. One of these images is called, in the system offered by those of Ra, the Tower or the Lightning Struck Tower. And it is at this level of meaning that we would look at your planetary situation from a metaphysical point of view. Your planet as an entity, as well as each of you as a part of the human family of Earth, is moving through a tremendously transformative period. We speak now not in terms of physical transformation, although physical transformation is, to some extent, likely. We have no idea to what extent. That would be determined by people such as you and the thoughts that they think within your next fairly finite period of time. We speak of the metaphysical aspect of intense transformation as this planet changes densities, changes the very nature of its core particles, changes the nature of its light, changes the way that light is able to come into the planetary aura or grid of energies. It has been transforming for approximately 2,000 of your years. To some extent, it has been beginning to accelerate for the last, say, 200 years to a marked degree. And as each of you is aware, it is profoundly accelerating in exponentially shorter amounts of physical time-space as the cusp of transformation is reached. As far as we are aware, that cusp will be reached within the next decade. At that point, your planet will have awakened its fourth density nature. That indicates magnetic change, electrical change, change of a profound nature that has already been showing up for some of your years in newly discovered, very quirky sub-density particles. It will continue to be a situation where the finer energies keep showing up for brief periods of time within the physical universe as these transformative processes continue. In this climate of change, the Earth is as vulnerable as a pregnant mother that is giving birth to a child. It is vulnerable in a way that it has not been vulnerable, as entities are always vulnerable in times of change. And from the standpoint of the entity Earth, which this instrument is fond of calling Gaia, it has been given an unending amount of negative emotional catalysts by those entities who are attempting to polarize towards service to self, and by the careless actions of those who are not attempting to polarize in either direction and who occasionally create suffering almost casually. The thoughts entities have habitually thought over a long period of time have created difficulties in the health and the welfare of Gaia. And as the physical perimeters of the Earth are nudged into change or capitulated into change, and this is your choice, there is a possibility of natural global catastrophe. Not simply the catastrophe of mankind against mankind. It has happened frequently enough in other third density graduations where the process of maturation of the species upon a planet was not able to endure through the lessons of love. We are grateful to the one known as Jim who witnessed to the lack of love upon your planet. Truly, no truer words, no truer thought has been spoken than this one. Your people and Gaia desperately need to be loved, to be seen, to be apprehended for the first time as part of the self. Many times we have said in response to your questions about this transformative time that we prefer not to give specific information. For one thing, at best, we would be approximating the largest possibility vortexes. We would be telling you what is likely to occur, for the future is not fixed. It is liquid. It is a creature of thought, and it will be the fruit of the seeds that you are planting now. It is said in your holy works that others have planted and you have reaped. That which you have planted, others shall reap, and this is deeply so. Many are the painful, angry, furious, negative emotions that have been sprayed across this planet by the self to the self. For my friends, that is what the situation truly is. All of you are sparks of one flame. All of you are one thing. You may choose at this time a direction of how to think. And we simply encourage you to focus the mind, the heart, and the commitment upon love. Let us go back to that archetypical lightning-struck tower and look at its significance again. Within your next decade or two, this transformation will have taken place. This is the time to acknowledge fully the need to learn the ways of the self, to become more and more familiar with the thoughts of the heart, with an eye to working with these thoughts, to accentuating the tendency towards positivity, towards compassion, towards tolerance, towards creativity, towards hope and faith. For that which has crashed your tower of the physical world and brought it down is a very literal symbol of an archetypical process. The matrix of the spirit in this tarot system is called the devil, and the lightning-struck tower is the potentiator of the spirit. The matrix of the spirit is called this because those who bring light have always had a bad reputation. Lucifer is one of the names that is most telling that is used for the devil in your culture. The roots of this word mean light bringer. The lie of your physical condition is concerned with wisdom, with spiritual seeking in third density. Knowledge and wisdom, in the spiritual sense, can be seen to be highly negative when unlit, unilluminated by love. That is why love is learned before wisdom. That is why love must be learned before wisdom. For when wisdom is learned first, it is fair to the taste, and so smooth within the intellectual digestion, and so handy and useful in the intellectual display of personality and intelligence, that it is often not clear, for lifetimes at a time, that without love, wisdom is utterly devoid of content. No matter how many fine thoughts roll around inside of an intellectual system, if it does not come into the heart and become grounded by what this instrument would call good works, good living, it will not abide in the sense of being spiritually useful for the evolution and the maturity of the soul. The lightning-struck tower is a kind of signal at this time that great catalyst is now available for the spirit. In the tarot system, which this instrument is somewhat familiar with, the catalyst of the spirit is hope. You could also call this entity faith. We think you will find that honing the facilities of faith, hope, and love will be an agenda that will keep you profitably busy for the rest of your incarnation doing what you came to do, serving as you came to serve. We hope you will realize that. And we hope you will realize that you have already begun, that you have already done much work. We appreciate the sentiments of the one known as Cindy, who, like so many, feels that she may be the least among the assembled. Each is the least among the assembled, for each is one with all that are assembled. Each has done great work in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes. Each comes to this moment with some sense of awareness that this time is special. And we hope that each of you will believe yourselves and will take courage and become even more faithful simply in being creatures of light. This is your nature. We do see the inconveniences, the suffering that has occurred. We see the possibilities that continue to open, not simply from this vortex, but from others. And we say to you, in the words of the Holy Bible, let not your hearts be moved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. You are now those who bear a kind of light to earth. In a way, you are Lucifer now, but you are not evil, nor was Lucifer intending towards evil. Indeed, much in this story is mistold. But archetypically speaking, we see your situation as one that is much more blessed and much more hopeful because of the change in the last 10 years, the last 20 years, the last 30 years. We see an acceleration of the light on this planet as well as an acceleration of the dark. To us, it is very clear that the forces of light are gaining strength. We would at this time transfer this contact. We leave this instrument in love and in light. We are those known to you as the QO.